This is what makes me ill because guys are out there, got their nuts on the line. Gals are out there too. I don't know what they've got on the line, but it's certainly not nuts. And yet you tell me you're too busy to do back costing. I hope you can understand why I just shake my head. Guys, we're talking about growing a business, being profitable, building that kick-ass business for sure. But we're not behaving. Our behavior does not map to the outcome that you're talking about.
How old are you going to be before you start to experience life like you want it? I want to tell you right now, whether you like it or not, there is a better way to do business.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. Thanks for joining me. My name's Max. I'm your host, and I am the CEO and president here at Smith & Sons in Canada, and I'm the ambitious founder of EliteBusinessAdvisory.com, business coaching for contractors. Going to get cracking today. Look, thank you for dropping by. If you're a long-time listener, you know how I feel about you guys and gals. And if you've just dropped in for the first time, I hope I don't disappoint you. Look, just before I get cracking, last episode, I did have a bit of a listen to that myself, as I occasionally do. And I want to apologise because there was a bit of potty mouth in that, and there was a few minor insults that I threw around as well. And I thought, I'm not sure why I did that first one of the year, but anyway, I hope it was taken as it was desired. I guess I'm very passionate about what we're doing in the building industry, so I just wanted to quickly throw that in there before we get cracking. And this is the number 2 episode for 2025. So I'm really focused this year on it's a new year, so really a new mindset's required, and a new outcome is what is hoped for. And so, I think everything that I do as a business owner, if you like, everything that I guess I put forward to my coaching clients and also my franchisees is this continuous improvement. So for me personally, that's really where it starts. I had a pretty enjoyable Christmas because we didn't go away. And truth be told, I actually was down here for about an hour on Christmas Day just because I couldn't help myself. But, it really excites me to come into the office, because we're in real business just like you are. And so it's fairly necessary for us to always be evolving, always be improving, always, applying new iterations of what we did last year. What is it that we did, really badly, and begin to improve the systems and the processes and everything like that. Because obviously, for us, we are like you. We want to grow a business. And so, it's not about pushing hard one year and then just cruising forever. Taking a few timeouts is all right. But really, we want to always be looking at how can we create more efficiencies. And so, that is that with the new year comes a bit of an opportunity for a revitalized mindset. And of course, focused on, new outcomes. And hopefully, especially working with elite business clients, I will be talking to them about, what their focus is and what they're going to do differently this year than what they did last year to improve their situation. Right. So I thought this would be as good as time as any to start talking about profit. And so, you know how I feel. If you don't measure it, you can't manage it. And so, really today what I'm going to focus on is, just focusing on how we go about measuring profit. So I've got a couple of points here that we're going to quickly run through. We want to focus on profit margins really per job. There's 2 parts, and I'll probably get onto this later, but, for me, back costing, cost engineering, comparing actuals to budgets and things like that, it's very habitual for me. I want the data. And so for me as a construction operative, probably no different to you, on a weekly basis, I want to compare what my actuals are versus what I've got in budgets. And the reason is too, I guess, like you, is that, I want to mark how I went as an estimator. Now, that's nice. If you're ticking all the boxes, then hopefully there should be some profit left. But if you're not, and it's not going well, it pays to know as soon as possible where there is a blowout. Okay, and so, we really want to be vigilant and protect that little baby called profit and ensure that we maximize our return on investment as we run the business. Right, point number one, approaches to measuring profit margin. You want to track your revenue and expenses by job, breaking down the costs into categories like labour, materials and overheads. I'm a big subscriber to cost codes inside of our job management software. I like to see, where I'm because I've got that continuous improvement attitude. I'm always looking to discover where I can take the system that I might have and just rejig it, tweak it, improve it, cut some things out if need be. I heard someone recently sort of say that you should be able to, put it together, run that side of your business with 100 cost codes. Now I thought, oh shit, I'll go and check mine. So I checked mine. I've got like 420 cost codes. So maybe I need to rejig some things because it's maybe too complicated. That's always a concern as well. There's a lot of guys, there's a lot of guys in the industry that don't pay much attention to the detail as it relates to finances inside of jobs, job by job. But then there is guys out there, probably like me, who really over-capitalize on the data. You get too down in the weeds. And I'm telling you, that can be as big a challenge as not tracking the data because really you have so much information, you don't know whether you're punch board or drilled. And so we want to make sure that we've got a really unique balance there to be able to have the data tell us a story about what's going on. So we want to compare estimated cost to your actual cost to identify discrepancies and inefficiencies. I've told a story before whereby my estimator back in the day, he basically forgot the ceramic tiles for the whole project and it was about 10 grand. And so we found that out about 3 weeks into a 9-month project, which was handy, as good as it can be. And we spent the remainder of that project trying to claw back that loss. And so that's, if that's not probably one of the better reasons to track your actuals versus your estimate or your budget, I don't know what is. So you want to conduct, as part of that approach to measuring your profit, you want to conduct regular job reviews to assess profitability and refine future estimates. And so the double-edged sword is, sure, we want to maximize profit. We want to make sure that we understand where we're up to as the job goes through as far as, how our profitability is going. But there's no question going forward that as you gather that data and those experiences, what then happens is you start to really get a good library and a good understanding of what jobs cost. And I think that, where I probably excel is the ability to create quotes in pretty quick time. There was a job that we just looked at that is a warranty job that another builder did, and it's going to go to arbitration, but it's over $1 million. And I think I literally got one quote that I received for that. And when I looked at it, what I thought I was going to put in there, I was about the same as what the quote was putting together. Now, that's an initial proposal because it's going to go legal. But when we come to build the place, we'll have to then just refine that slightly. But in saying that, I was able to put together, that $1 million preliminary proposal, if you like, off the back of the experience and the understanding that I have in the construction sector. And really that just comes down to years in the game. So this is why when people come to me and go, Max, how do I quote, a bathroom and kitchen? And no disrespect, I don't sit here in a seat of judgment. It's just that it's I could do that quote as I'm driving down the road if you're sitting in, shotgun and taking notes. It's just, that's where young fellas, young guys, young gals, they just don't understand that us old boys have the experience, which really does enable us to, put those quotes together pretty quickly. And not just quotes. I mean, that one there is going to have that $1 million+ job. That's going to have a 30% markup on it. And so it's not going to be a bad job, right? So it'll take us about, I think we calculate on the Gantt chart about 6 to 7 months. So, look, it's just really, and that was an interesting one. I was thinking about putting a bit of a podcast together on that one too, because I took with me a, what I call a project proposal binder, which included a whole bunch of stuff from communications to Gantt charts to, subcontractors. Not that I was going to drop it on the table and just let the client have a free-for-all. But in there was a selection, the actual selection sheet document that was probably about 75% complete. And what that did is it just illustrated or demonstrated the level of professionalism. I had my iPad there, so it had all of the construction drawings on it, because I'm about wanting to demonstrate confidence in what I know and what I do. Homeowners do not want to go and work with a builder who doesn't really understand what his process is. And you know what? Side note, we're talking about profit and shit, but guys, we've really got to sit down and think about how we sell. And our sales process, some of the stuff I hear is fine. It's SaaS products, software as a service, etc. And it's all very much online, it's automated, things like that. But you and I are blue collar, in the field service providers. And, we really got to sit down and not get too complicated, but we've got to know confidently what we are doing and which way we are taking the clients. And I'm telling you, if you do that, it'll actually help you disqualify. It'll actually help you discern between who is a wood duck and who is a, player, or who's a pretender and who's someone who's, going to be worth working for. I'm getting to the point now, whereas if you don't want to use my software, our job management system, and you don't want to communicate therein, and you want to start sending me text messages or emails, then you might find yourself being disqualified, because I've got so much on the go. I need to make sure that all of that information is compartmentalized and it's organized, and I can get it just at the flick of a switch, right? So, it's that kind of mindset, in my daily operations, which of course trickles down when I'm talking about creating profit inside of projects. The devil's in the detail. There's no question. The client was just impressed by the amount of detail that we had in the preliminary proposal. So that was encouraging. It was a good pat in the back. It was a good meeting. Right. Main point number 2 here for managing and measuring profit. So timelines for effective back costing. Guys and girls, I want to ask you, are you monetizing a hobby, or are you a business owner? Right? This is what makes me ill, because guys are out there, got their nuts on the line. Gals are out there too. I don't know what they've got on the line, but it's certainly not nuts. But you've got everything on the line, and now, and yet you tell me you're too busy to do back costing. I hope you can understand why I just shake my head. Why I just shake my head. It's like, guys, we're talking about growing a business, being profitable, building that kick-ass business for sure. But we're not behaving. Our behavior does not map to the outcome that you're talking about. And, you've got to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself some hard questions, and maybe even give yourself an uppercut. Who knows? You need to conduct back costing at key milestones, right? So I do it anyway. on a weekly basis. I just, see invoices come in, and I want to just tick through. It doesn't take long, guys and gals. If you've got a job management system, getting that automated is probably the next step. That's the next level. But, to be able to take an invoice that should have a purchase order to go with it, which means it's allocated in your budget. If it's not, obviously there's going to be some retroactive activity happening there. You should be able to go in there and really get a live play-by-play, week-by-week understanding of where you are as far as your profitability is concerned for that project. So you need to do it during the project, at worst, midway through the project, when you complete the project, and then there's got to be a post-completion debrief or analysis as well. Do yourself a solid and just really understand. But weekly is how I do it until the job is done. That means there's less work to do at the back end, just by the way. Now, just a side note to back costing and cost engineering for projects, you really need to set up, I want you to be really, have your finger on the pulse as far as your monthly financial reviews. If you're serious about business and you're not just monetizing a hobby, you should be doing financial reviews on a monthly basis. That's my recommendation. You need to understand where you're up to. And then, of course, you want to be able to use historical data from completed jobs to refine, all of your processes for upcoming jobs. So keeping an eye on the actuals versus estimates in real time with projects on the go, making sure your monthly financials you're always looking for trends. And, we use a key activity metrics, which is a spreadsheet to really identify what the performance is on a day-by-day basis, week by week. And then we can start looking at it on a monthly, a quarterly basis, and we can look at the trends and see what's happening with inside the business. Guys, it's the sleep at night factor. Like, all of this stuff that I'm talking about is so that you don't have to think about or worry about, more to the point, what's going on in your business, because when I'm talking to retail clients, I tell them, I say, you can go with the cost plus builder, nothing against cost plus builders, except the fact when I'm talking to a retail client, there is a lot of uncertainty around what it's going to cost the client at the end of the day. And so I use that when I'm talking to retail clients. Now, do yourself a favor and instill some confidence and some certainty in yourself about your business. That's the reason we're talking about this. We'll get onto this in a minute. So look, right, main point number 3, technology to simplify the process, right? Systems and people will give you leverage, okay? We talked about that before lots and lots of times. Businesses run off the back of good systems, and good people run good systems, okay, to keep the business going. So first thing you need is a job management system. If you're still doing it using Excel spreadsheet, you've got to stop that. You've got to figure out a way to make a little bit more money and spend. I think I probably spend, for me and my business partner, just $320 Canadian a month. And that does everything I need it to do. Now, they're apparently introducing a graphic takeoff tool for that software in the month of January. So I'm waiting with bated breath, because that will really top off that piece of software that we use. You've got to have accounting tools like QuickBooks or Xero or something that affect that does sync with your job management system. And something that I've adopted recently, now don't get this twisted, but I have recently used on several of our projects DocuSign. Now, you might have heard of DocuSign. It's a digital contract platform that you can use to upload your own contract there, have clients sign it, you both get copies, happy days. Another one that I use for my coaching business is called PandaDoc. But they're two of the majors. Now, I'm not saying to you go and negate your responsibility to sit down with a client and ensure that all of the boxes are ticked. But inside of that, they have got a duty of care that they've got to take to go and investigate the agreement. That's on them. But everywhere that I want their attention, there will be a signature, there'll be an initial spot, right? Now, I have already spent a lot of time, built a lot of rapport with these homeowners, and I'm sat down with them numerous times and ultimately have been through the proposal presentation where we've, maybe negotiated final inclusions and the final price, et cetera, and, I've walked them through that. I may have even tucked a contract hard copy under my arm just to show them what they're going to receive digitally, okay? It's always been a frustration of mine that we've always had 2 copies of the contract, the building contract, and so they've got to sign a copy and we've got to sign a copy and we both take a copy away, whereas doing it digitally does reduce the amount of paperwork. So, I think it's prudent to talk to them about change order policies, progress payments, stage claims, etc., inclement weather, force majeure, certain conditions that are built into our contracts, so that is for sure. But at the end of the day, to get it signed off, it's far easier. So to use, something like DocuSign. So, technology to simplify processes, it's going to make it easy for you to cover ground because you can get stuff done. Now, if you don't have the luxury like I do to have a business partner who doesn't want anything to do with the office really, he's more the construction side, he's my superintendent, and I'm his salesperson, office admin, if you like. I have the luxury of being able to sit at my desk for the most part and 90% of the time and really just handle a lot of the departments or a lot of the companies in my life, my portfolio, if you like. And using these kinds of digital systems makes it a lot easier for everyone. Matter of fact, even when we're signing the contract, I can have my business partner, he can be included in that. And so it makes it when you've got more, when it's more complex, that sort of system is going to really enable you to get more work done. And so, the other thing too is it's so much easier to store digital than paperwork. I mean, you go to my office and there's way too much paper in there. So Anywhere I can use digital, there's a lot of upside, in that. So the other thing is leveraging dashboards to visualize your profitability metrics. Obviously that is, something that can be done inside of your job management system and really identify your underperforming areas at a glance. I think that what I'm going and looking for is where are the areas where my expectation or my opinion of a cost, perhaps, because I do so much, it's heavily leans towards me relying on my historical data to do quotes. And so the minute that something pops up that's not particularly in line with what I thought, I really make a mental note and we really document that as well in our catalogue, in our system, to ensure that we minimise the loss of profit. So, we use key activity metrics spreadsheet. We talked about that a second ago. But again, it's just what that spreadsheet does for the business performance is it looks at all of the different aspects that make the business run, and it gives us some indication. It's almost like, you become the building company whisperer, because what you can read into the metrics will tell you a story. And so the metrics within a building project will also tell you a story, and hopefully that will help you avoid any miscalculations in the future. Right, so the value of job-specific profit analysis, that is a tool for growth and sustainability. Okay, your profit margin is the clearest indication of how your business is doing. Now, you don't need to have one good month and then 6 bad months. Okay, we've got to have some consistency built in. We don't want to just go. And look, honestly, guys, I think, you need a good gross profit to be able to sort of run your business. There's no question about that. But at the end of the day, earnings, company earnings, which is your net profit, that needs to be in the vicinity of 8 to 12%, minimum 8%. And so, you really got to focus on your company earnings, because it's the company earnings that will then turn around and be able to pay a dividend to you as the business owner. So if the company is not making a profit year on year, then there's obviously something wrong with your business model. And I don't know whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, whether it's pricing model in your estimating side of things, whether it's your construction or delivery programs, or all the above. Okay, but that's where, for me as a business coach, it does take me a little bit of time to get to the root cause of what's going on if there is deficits in your business. So, guys, get across to, if you like this kind of information, let me know. Email me, max@elitebusinessadvisory.com, or get across, tick the bell if you're on YouTube. Drop me a comment there if you've got a question, and I'll get that in my inbox. Get across to Facebook, B4B, VIP, and answer the questions, and I will let you in. If you're a good sort, and, don't forget to just, focus on this year as an opportunity to get better. It's what I'm doing, and I would urge you to do the same. Go build a kick-ass business. See you in the next episode. Cheers.